how Harrison Ford can be Indiana Jones and Han Solo and all the other roles he has in films. I don't know, but I respect him for what he does. Welcome to another movie review video. Woo! Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content here on this channel every week, and then movie reviews just like this one here at the weekend. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free, and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above in case you are looking for something else to watch this weekend. Yes, I went to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, I'm not like a big Indiana Jones stan. I'm not kind of big into it, but I did go and see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in the cinema. We watched one of the Indiana Jones ones as part of our IMDb Top 100, and then a friend of mine used to love Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when we were younger, and so we would often watch a recording from the TV when we were at her house of like all the disgusting things he has to eat and all the scary bits. So yeah, there's a bit of a background with me and Indiana Jones, but I wasn't like, oh, today's the day it's out, I must go and see it. But I was like, I will go and see this to bring a review for you here. So I am not coming at this from I'm looking for a classic Indiana Jones film, because interestingly, I've spoken to other people about this one, and they have said that in their opinion it is too much of like chaos and action and violence and noise compared to what a classic Indiana Jones film is like, and compared to kind of what Indiana Jones canon should be. And so that was interesting because I thought it was great. I was completely sort of enraptured the entire way through, even though it is a long film. However, I think where this disconnect comes is the fact that obviously this is released by Disney and Lucasfilm and Steven Spielberg, and each of those entities under the one umbrella have to compete with, Disney has to compete with the Marvel films that it's producing. Lucasfilm has to compete with all the action that's happening with the Star Wars films. And then as a sort of industry in particular, the special effects have to be up to scratch of what special effects are like these days. And so yes, the first Indiana Jones trilogy could get by on the writing and the plot, whereas now you have to have, we're in this perilous situation because we can, or like we're going to have this whole like underwater peril scene because we can. And so I think that's where they are, playing to the industry, and they are playing to the audience that they know that they are projecting this film to. And so clearly I was kind of the new audience, because I really liked how action-packed it was, and how it was, it was a car chase, and then there was an underwater thing, and then there was like a slow down bit. But yet there were still some plot points and some callbacks to some classic Indiana Jones bits. This film, interestingly, covering the whole CGI thing, I thought the CGI was pretty good. I don't think it's up there with your Marvel and your Star Wars films, even though this is a Disney Lucasfilm production. I think that it's just not as pleasing to look at on the screen as those are. But I do think that it was good for what it was doing. And then as well, I thought it was interesting the way they'd used the kind of like anti-aging thing, a bit like they very controversially did with The Irishman, to show Indy in a situation at the end of World War II. And so what, Harrison Ford would have looked like at that point, which was interesting. I haven't looked up to see exactly how they did it, whether it was just a moving of their age thing, it was just a putting a filter on her face, or whether they used previous footage a bit like they did with some of the Carrie Fisher stuff in Star Wars after she died. You know, they used some of the older footage, and it's been used in a couple of things. And so I haven't looked up how it was done, but I thought that was interesting. And I was kind of almost like watching it, ready to be critical of it, kind of trying to watch it closely, like leaning forward a little bit when there was shots of his face. I think that they probably did it just like they did with The Irishman. And it wasn't a case of, oh, well, we used previous footage of Harrison Ford or previous footage of actually in Indiana Jones films. But yeah, that was an interesting jumping back and forth. And then there's some sort of classic Indiana Jones sidekicks in there as well, which was interesting, who, you know, a couple of them had some anti-aging stuff going on, looking back at the past and looking towards what they would look like now in the future, which was the 1970s. And so that was, yeah, it was interesting. Now, I got confused because I knew that Phoebe Waller-Bridge was in this one. And I think that, you know, she's pretty good in this. Although I do find her tricky to kind of take her in serious roles. I always expect her to be a complete comedic role, which, you know, the character that she plays in this is not super serious, but it's not comedy. We're not just doing Fleabag here. But I really thought that she'd written some of this. And I don't know where I'm getting that from. If you know where I've got my wires crossed, do let me know in the comments, because I was like, I thought Phoebe Waller-Bridge was a writer, but I watched the credits and she doesn't get any writing credits. So that was interesting. But yeah, it was different to have her as kind of Indy's, not like nemesis, but like a bit of a rival, but a bit of a friend, like a bit of a frenemy, if you will. And I thought that their dynamic was really good, Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I thought their dynamic was really good on screen. And then we get to travel to lots of places whilst we're watching this film as well, so I did really enjoy it. As a sort of non-traditional Indiana Jones fan, you know, I have seen the films, but I'm not someone who watches them again and again. I did enjoy it, and I thought there was plenty of action. You could tell that it was coming from Disney, Lucasfilm, Spielberg. Like, it felt like a big blockbuster movie along the lines of the Star Wars films and the Marvel films that I like to go and watch anyway. And so that was pleasing for me. Is it on the long side? Yes. But did I feel like it was dragging? No, I really didn't. I had to leave to use the bathroom once, and that was it. Apart from that, I didn't check my watch. I wasn't getting fidgety. It was just a case of like, right, okay, gonna go out as quick as I can, since there are a lot of electric eels coming up on the screen. Absent myself at that point. But yeah, it was definitely good to see it on the big screen. I didn't end up going to see it in like iSense or Dolby or IMAX, which I may have done if it hadn't sort of fitted in that I could go and see this particular screening that I went to see. But yeah, should you pay your cinema going money to go and see this one? I would say yes. I think it's something that it is good on the big screen. It's got the special effects, it's got the sound, it was very loud, it's got the action, it's got the, like I say, the travelling to the different locations and seeing those beautiful settings, and therefore it does benefit from that higher definition, larger, literally larger than life being seen in front of you. And so I would say yes. I think also it's, you know, reasonably family friendly. It's something that you could go and take lots of different people to go and see, and because it's got action, because you'll have your Indiana Jones fans, and then it's got that kind of like heart and not romance to it, but that heart of the previous Indiana Jones films where there was actually romance. I think that there is something for everyone here. So it is a recommendation from me, but just know that you're taking that recommendation from someone who is not your traditional Indiana Jones fan. So there you have it. As always, if there is a particular movie that you would like me to go and watch this week and then bring my report back to you here next week, do let me know in comments. I am excited for some summer blockbusters. I'm very excited for the Barbie movie, and I'm going to a Scream unseen quite soon as well, so I'm excited for that. If you enjoyed this video, do give it a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on my movie review video next week and my bookish content coming your way in the week. And yes, I will see you with my next video very soon. Thanks for watching.